It's Big Vic, aka El Señor de la Muerte, here to do the 13 Commandments with a deep explanation of Commandment number 3. This is a series I've been doing for the last week or so. I was doing it both on YouTube and TikTok, but TikTok cancels me at least once every few weeks, I guess, because people don't like what I preach, what I show, what I say, how I look. I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna get into it right now. Um, so I'm gonna give it just till 1 minute in. I want to just thank you to everybody for supporting me throughout these last few years. I've been doing this for a while. My heart is where this is. So my heart belongs to my Santa Muerte, my God, my kids, my parents, my family, my brother, my sisters, my nephews and nieces, and you guys. All right. So without further ado, let's get started with the 13 commandments. We're going to say first, then we'll get into the whole deep explanation of commandment number 3. All right. So in 13 commandment, and again, let me explain something really fast before I get started. I explain this in every video, but I've been devoted to Santa Muerte for about 30 years, let's say. In that time, there's been many commandment lists, and I went to the internet to find a good list. I didn't really find one that really matches her teachings, I believe. So I pulled about 4 or 5 lists from online. I pulled about 3 from the books I have here, and I took out the ones I didn't feel went. I combined some to put in this list, and then I added a few that were not on any of the lists that I found. So without further ado, this is the 13 commandments. Again, because God got 10 sewed up. So number 13, seek justice with fairness and compassion. Seek justice with fairness and compassion. La Santa Muerte values impartiality and justice. When seeking justice, ensure your actions are fair, balanced, and filled with compassion, avoiding prejudice or bias, and always considering the greater good. Number 12, live in harmony with the natural and spiritual world. Live in harmony with the natural and spiritual worlds. Respect and care for each other and all living beings, as well as spiritual forces that guide and protect you. Recognize the interconnectedness of all life under the care of La Santa Muerte. 11. Honor the dead and ancestors. Honor the dead and ancestors. Show respect and remembrance for the dead, including your ancestors, acknowledging the eternal bond between the living, the departed, and the spiritual world. 10. Offer prayer and rituals with sincerity. Offer prayers and rituals with sincerity. When you pray or perform rituals in the name of La Santa Muerte, do so with a pure heart and sincere intentions, knowing that she values your devotion and authenticity. Number 9, protect the weak, vulnerable, and children. Protect the weak, vulnerable, and children. Defend and support those who are weak, oppressed, marginalized, and especially children, as La Santísima Muerte watches over and safeguards those in need. Number 8, embrace the cycles of life and death. 8, embrace the cycles of life and death. Understand and accept the natural cycles of life and death, knowing that La Santísima Muerte governs these transitions with grace and wisdom. Number 7, seek abundance and success with honesty. Number 7, seek abundance and success with honesty. It's natural to seek financial support in times of need. When praying to La Santa Muerte for abundance and success, do so with honest intentions. Remember not to covet others' worldly riches and avoid exploiting her name for greed or harmful purposes. Number 6, use power and spiritual knowledge with integrity. Use power and spiritual knowledge with integrity. Refrain from actions that would harm your spirituality or religion. Use any spiritual or earthly power granted to you responsibly, always with truth and integrity, never for selfish gain or to exploit others. Harm none without just cause. That's number 5. Harm none without just cause. Do not harm anyone unless it is truly deserved, following the guidance of La Santa Muerte with non-judgmental but just. Number 4, respect and protect devotees of La Santa Muerte and God. Honor and support all members of the Church of La Santa Muerte and those who follow God Almighty, recognizing them as part of your spiritual family. Number 3, which is the one we're doing tonight, honor your earthly mother and father. Number 3, honor your earthly mother and father. Show love, respect, and gratitude to your parents, recognizing them as reflections of the divine and the vessels through which you entered this world. Number 2, venerate and celebrate La Santísima Muerte. Show deep respect and devotion to La Santísima Muerte, adoring her on her feast days and every day, and acknowledging her as your sacred protector and guide through life and death. Number 1, honor God Almighty as the supreme power above all. Number 1, honor God Almighty as the supreme power above all. Recognize and revere God Almighty as the creator of all things, including La Santísima Muerte, who serves under his divine will. Always remember that he sits above all his creations. All right? So that was the 13 commandments that I put together from all the lists I found online and in books. I feel that these correlate with her devotion. So again, this is not a knock at the commandments that our Lord put in front of us. These are secondary commandments to devotees of La Santa Muerte. All right? So I don't want to confuse people and be like, oh, this fool is tripping. Like, those are the commandments. No, it's additional, let's say, bylaws for us devoted children of La Santa Muerte. All right? So now we're going to get into the explanation of commandment number 3. And again, for those that are here for the first time, welcome. Hopefully that maybe I can say some things that maybe doesn't offend you or may resonate with your spirituality. All right, here we go. So commandment number 3, honor your earthly mother and father. Show love, respect, and gratitude to your parents, recognizing them as reflections of the divine and the vessels through which you entered this world. All right, honoring our parents is a commandment that resonates across many spiritual and religious traditions. The act of honoring those who brought us into this world is deeply rooted in the recognition of life as a gift, and our parents are the vessels through which this gift has been granted to us. This commandment, however, is not without its complexities, especially in situations where parental relationships are fraught with difficulties, trauma, or even abuse. Despite these challenges, commandment number 3 calls us to find a path toward honoring our earthly mother and father in a manner that aligns with the principles of love, respect, and gratitude. The significance of honoring parents. In honoring our parents, we acknowledge the essential role they play in the grand tapestry of life. They are the ones who have given us the opportunity to experience existence, to grow, and to fulfill our unique purposes. This act of honoring is not necessarily about approving of every action they have taken or agreeing with every decision they have made. Rather, it's about recognizing their intrinsic value as human beings and as the vessel chosen by divine forces to bring us into this world. All right, so I'm gonna be honest. When I unveiled my 13 commandments, I got a lot of backlash from people that follow me over on TikTok. You know, my parents, I love. Like, you know, we've had our ups and downs, but who hasn't had a rocky relationship here and there with their parents sometimes? But I got a lot of people on TikTok, this is not my quote, their quote, like, oh, my parents ain't shit, you know, my parents were abusive, my parents were this and that, you know, pretty much F them and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, you know what? Despite all those things, we still should honor our parents. You know, if they loved us, if they abused us, it shaped us into who we are, sort of, and we do carry their traits. So without them, we wouldn't be here. So I know it's a slippery slope once I got down to the nitty gritty and talked to people. But at the end of the day, no matter how your parents treated you growing up, you still gotta respect them. They still gave you life through God's divine will, and therefore we still owe them life itself. I know some people are very much against it, and right now I feel that, me personally, I love my parents. I had my issues with them where I didn't speak to them for about 3 years over money issues, and that's something that I carry with me. There's times when I was young, I was disrespectful, and I was rude or whatever, and I regret those actions deeply. So as I sit here now, and reflection of the way I have treated my parents throughout my life, I'm gonna say I'm not very proud of all my actions. But I am proud now that I do what I can. I try to be as respectful as possible to them now. When I was a youth, let's say I wasn't, and that's my flaw. That's my flaw. All right, so acknowledgement of life's gift. The act of honoring our parents begins with the acknowledgement that life itself is a precious gift, regardless of the circumstances of our birth or the nature of our upbringing. The opportunity to experience life is a profound blessing. By honoring our parents, we express gratitude for the chance to experience the beauty, challenges, and growth that life offers. Reflection of the divine. In many spiritual traditions, parents are seen as reflections of the divine. They are co-creators with the divine force, participating in the miracle of life. By honoring them, we also honor the divine power that works through them. This acknowledgement creates a bridge between the human and the divine, fostering a sense of connection and reverence. Building the foundation of society. Here we go. Honoring our parents help us to build the foundation of a stable and harmonious society. When children show respect and gratitude towards their parents, it fosters a sense of responsibility, empathy, and community. This respect extends beyond the family unit, influencing how individuals interact with others and contribute to society at large. So pretty much, if you learn to respect your elders, your parents being the first elders you'll ever meet, probably, hopefully, maybe, then you go out into the world and you respect others. You're taught manners, you're taught responsibility, you're taught love, you're taught to sort of know your place in society, I guess, So, I mean, nowadays you see a lot of, I don't want to sound like an old man, but I'm old. You see a lot of youngsters disrespect their parents, and the way they treat their parents, that's the way they carry themselves out in the world with strangers, and it's a shame. Challenges in honoring parents. This is the backlash I guess I got, when I said this. While the principle of honoring one's parents is straightforward in theory, in practice it can be fraught with challenges. Not everyone has experienced loving and supportive parental relationships. Some individuals may have faced neglect, abuse, or abandonment. In these cases, the commandment to honor one's parents can feel not only difficult, but also unjust. Complex relationships. Parental relationships can be complex, marked by misunderstandings, conflict, and emotional distances. The idea of honoring someone with whom one had a strained or toxic relationship can be overwhelming. However, it is essential to recognize that honoring does not mean condoning harmful behavior. Instead, it means finding a way to acknowledge the role of parents in our lives without compromising our well-being. All right, I'm gonna say something. A lot of us have great parents, but growing up, we were fucking shitheads. We were. So sometimes, for a long time, we feel our parents are so unjust because they told us what to do, because they want us to clean our room, because they want us to do chores, because whatever. Because back then, they spanked us, and again, it's natural order of things to have parentals that have set, let's say, rules and regulations for us to follow, because that's where it all starts. So although we may look back and be like, man, my mom was so hard on me, that was her job. She was supposed to correct you when you're wrong. She's supposed to spank you when you fucked up. Nowadays, you can't touch any kid without them kids calling CPS. That's why they're all over the fucking place, and they cannot handle any kind of pressures, or they fucking shatter sometimes. I hate to say that. I apologize, but I mean, again, as a parent, you have to be selfless in putting your children first, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta educate them. Sometimes you have to foster this relationship that is both loving parent and strict, let's say, enforcer of rules that society has set upon all of us. But again, I stray. Abuse and trauma. For individuals who have experienced abuse or trauma at the hands of their parents, the commandment to honor them can be a source of pain and confusion. In these cases, honoring parents does not mean accepting abuse or remaining in harmful situations. Instead, it can involve acknowledging that the reality of the past while choosing to heal and move forward. It may mean setting boundaries, seeking therapy, or finding ways to honor the parent's role, giving life while simultaneously rejecting abusive behavior. Absence and neglect. Some individuals may have experienced absence or neglect from their parents. Honoring parents who were not present or who failed to provide emotional or physical support can be challenging. In such cases, honoring them may involve a process of forgiveness, understanding the limitations of human beings, and finding peace within oneself. All right, I'm going to add to that because I forget to mention this. When I was a kid, I was a latchkey kid, which meant me and my brother were home alone a lot of the time. And it wasn't because they neglected us or they were absent, it's that they were working very hard to provide for us. So many times we don't see the bigger picture. We're kids. We feel they ain't there. We feel that, they are not a big part of our life because for a long time, while my mother worked, my father worked, me and my brother would get home and cook our meals, do what we wanted to do without any parental supervision. And that was always a big source of me to throw in my mom's face and shit, or my dad's face sometimes. More my mom, because my mom was the more strict of the two. But in retrospect, my mother and father were trying to work to provide for us. My mother and father both got here from Mexico illegally, but not asking for a handout, and worked hard to provide for us. Buy a house, buy cars, buy groceries, buy us food, buy us clothing, buy us shoes, buy us toys. They did the best they could with the situation they had in front of them. And again, it wasn't that they abandoned us. It was simply that they had to go earn a living. And sometimes as children, we don't see that because our minds they're not here. So for a long time, I resented my mother because she got home from work at about 1 a.m. When I got home from school, she was already off to work. So during my entire, let's say, elementary school years and let's say the year or two I went to junior high, my mom was never there because she was working. And on the weekends that she was home, it was a constant battle because she'd be like, clean your room. I was like a little feral animal. I wasn't used to being told what to do during the week. So my mom worked overtime on Saturday sometimes, and she was only home on Sunday. So for that one day, it was ding ding, fights on. It was will versus will. Like, you're not gonna tell me what to do because you're never here. And my mom, again, her being a provider and mother, she felt like we were very ungrateful, and I think we were. We just didn't understand it yet. So again, some of us had these parents that were never there because they were busy trying to earn a living. Thank you, Yo Adamas. For real, that's very wise. That's very. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take that from you and use it probably in one of these discussions I have. That's very wise. Finding a path to honor. Despite these challenges, finding a path to honor one's parents is possible and can be transformative experience. Here are some ways to approach this commandment with compassion and wisdom. Redefine honor. Understanding that honor does not necessarily mean having a close and affectionate relationship with one's parents can be liberating. Honor can be redefined to mean acknowledging their role in your life, showing respect for their humanity, and recognizing that they too are on their own spiritual journey. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing. It does not mean forgetting or excusing harmful behavior, but rather freeing oneself from the burden of anger and resentment. By forgiving one's parents, individuals can release the hold that the past hurts have on their lives, making space for peace and personal growth. Set healthy boundaries. Honoring parents does not mean allowing them to harm you or invade your personal space. I'm gonna redefine that as well, because again, I think that your parents can be in your personal space because if they're paying for everything. And okay. Boundaries can provide a framework for interaction that are respectful and nurturing rather than harmful. Seek understanding. Attempting to understand one's parents' backgrounds, struggles, and limitations can foster empathy, recognizing that they may have faced their own challenges and traumas. It can humanize them, making it easier to approach them with compassion rather than judgment. In my case, my mother, she was abandoned by her birth parents and was given to her aunt to be raised. And she was, and I'm sharing, I'm oversharing, so hopefully this does not offend my mother or my father. She was raised by her aunt, and when my grandmother, when my grandmother and grandfather moved to a border town, they went and picked my mother up and tore her away from the family she knew at 13 or 15, I forget the age. So my mom was abandoned and then torn away from the family she knew. So she has a lot of hurt and pain. So her journey has been fraught with a lot of pain, sorrows, and agony. But we don't, as children, we don't know shit. My father, his dad was very abusive. He would beat them and he would beat his mother, and that was just the way Mexico was at the time. It was normal for them to experience that kind of, let's say violence at the hands of their parental, because that was the way they were made to understand. So my father is a very loving man, and because his father beat him like that and his mother, my dad was one of those people that ended that cycle. Sometimes it goes, the influence and it's nurture, where even a child experiences abuse, and you would think despite that they would not do that to their spouse, but it becomes a cycle. My dad and some of my uncles, they were very clear that my dad instilled in me from a very early age, a man does not hit a woman no matter what the circumstances may be. A man that hits a woman isn't a man. Now ladies, don't push it though, all right, because someone will knock you out. But my dad instilled those values in me because of what he witnessed as a child. My mother, she resents a lot of her childhood because it was very negative. So it was very hard for her to she was very mean, my mom, when we were kids, or we felt she was mean. She was very cold in her words, but in seeing how she was raised, I understand it now. Thank you, yo Adamas. No, God is over la Santa Muerte, and that's funny. Short Mexicans are called paragraphs because they are not a full essay. Well, I'm a 6'2" Mexican, so there you go. I'm a full essay. Offer prayers and blessings for those who find direct interaction with their parents too difficult. Offering prayers and blessings can be a way to honor them from a distance. Praying for their well-being, health, and spiritual growth can be a form of honoring that does not require physical or emotional closeness. Examples of honoring parents. To further illustrate the principle of honoring one's parents, let us consider some examples that might highlight different ways to communicate, different ways this commandment can be lived out. The story of reconciliation. Maria had I'm just going to use random words or random names, right? Maria had a tumultuous relationship with her father, who was often absent and struggled with addiction. As she grew older, Maria harbored resentment and anger toward him for not being that father she needed. However, through her spiritual practice, she began to understand the pain and struggles her father had faced. Maria chose to forgive him, not to condone his actions, but to free herself from all the bitterness that weighed her down. Over time, they reconnected, and while the relationship was never perfect, they found a sense of peace and mutual respect. Remember, people, our parents lived a full life before they had us sometimes. Sometimes it was a hard one. Trump. The power of boundaries. Juanita's mother was emotional and abusive, constantly criticizing and belittling her. As an adult, Juanita chose to set firm boundaries, limiting contact with her mother to protect her mental health. However, she found a way to honor her mother by acknowledging the sacrifices she made and offering prayers for her healing. Juanita's boundaries allowed her to maintain her well-being while still respecting her mother's role in her life. Jamie Sunshine, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Honoring through service. Carlos' parents were supportive and loving, but as they aged, they became dependent on him for care. Carlos chose to honor his parents by being their primary caregiver, showing them love and gratitude through his actions. He provided for their needs, spent time with them, and ensured they felt valued and appreciated. In their later years, his dedication was a testament to the deep respect he held for them. I'm getting choked up because my dad, in his ripe old age, just beat cancer, right? And my dad lives about an hour and a half away from me, and I wish I could be with him furthermore and be there more and whatever. But again, we don't know what we have until it's gone or almost gone. So for those that have parents where you're distant, try to mend that bridge. Try to, close that gap. Because once you go, or they go, which is most likely the way it goes, we can't fix that relationship here on this plane. So I encourage you, or those that have parents that maybe they don't agree with how they were brought up, talk about it. You might be surprised what you find out. Cultural and spiritual perspectives. In many cultures and spiritual traditions, honoring one's parents is seen as a sacred duty. This commandment resonates with teachings found in Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and indigenous spiritual practices, among others. The emphasis on filial piety, respect and reverence for one's parents and ancestors, and is a common thread that binds humanity across time and geography. Okay, Christianity. The Bible explicitly commands honor your father and mother as one of the 10 commandments. This principle is seen as a fundamental to maintaining a moral and ethical society. Jesus himself exemplified this commandment by showing love and respect to his mother Mary and ensuring her care even while he was on the cross. In Islam, honoring one's parents is considered second only to the worship of Allah. The Quran frequently emphasizes the importance of kindness and respect towards one's parents, especially in their old age. The act of honoring parents is seen as a pathway to earning divine favor. Hindu teachings highlight the concept of Matru Divu Vava. Sorry if I mess this up, all right? I don't mean to be that guy. Pitru Devava, which means mother is God, father is God. This underscores the idea that parents are to be revered as divine beings. Honoring parents is seen as a fundamental duty that ensures harmony and righteousness in this world. Buddhism. In Buddhism, respect for parents is a key aspect of the moral life. The Buddha taught that children should honor their parents, provide for them, and remember their sacrifices. This respect extends to performing rituals and ceremonies in honor of deceased parents, reflecting the enduring bond between parent and child. Indigenous practices. Many indigenous cultures place a strong emphasis on respecting elders, including the parents. These traditions often involve rituals, storytellings, and ceremonies that honor the wisdom and contributions of ancestors and elders. By honoring their parents, individuals maintain a connection to their culture, heritage, and spiritual roots. So again, it's not just about what we do here. Every other major religion and culture always has emphasized the role of honoring parents. Again, wise words. You'll aramas. Oh my God, I lost my space. A central aspect. All right, the role of parents as vessels chosen by the divine. A central aspect of this commandment is a recognition of parents as vessels chosen by the divine. This perspective shifts the focus from the individual actions of the parents to the role of the divine plan. Regardless of their behavior, parents are seen as instruments through which life is transmitted. These views fosters a sense of gratitude and reverence, independent of personal feelings or experiences. I'm gonna say this: sometimes we're tested. Sometimes we're tested, and God gives us shitty parents. I mean, we can't sort of question His divine will. If it's God, if it's Allah, whoever, this is something that's put forth in front of you as a testament or a test. Exactly. The mystery of life. The process of birth is a profound mystery, intricately tied to the workings of the divine. By honoring our parents, we acknowledge the miracle of life and the divine forces that orchestrate our existence. This acknowledgement deepens our spiritual awareness and the appreciation for the sacredness of life. Acknowledging divine choice, by viewing our parents as vessels chosen by God and the divine, we embrace the belief that their role in our lives is not random but purposeful. Even if our experience with them have been challenging, the very fact that they are our parents means that there is a greater reason behind it. This perspective allows us to see beyond the immediate circumstances and understand that there is a divine orchestration in place, one that shapes us, our experiences, and our spiritual growth. So I was saying earlier, the path of acceptance, accepting that our parents were chosen by divine will, can be a transformative experience. It does not mean that we must passively accept harmful behavior, but rather that we accept the reality of our existence and our lineage. Acceptance is a path to inner peace, enabling us to make sense of our experiences and find strength in them, rather than being weighed down by the resentment of anger. Reconciling with negative parental relationships. One of the most challenging aspects of this commandment is the application to individuals who have had negative, abusive, or absent parental figures. Reconciling this commandment with painful personal experiences requires deep spiritual insight and a commitment to personal healing. I feel like this commandment went really sour because when I unveiled this commandment on our 13 commandments, I got a lot of backlash, a lot of negative backlash. And again, I feel like this is very negative. It was supposed to be very positive. Honoring your mother and father should be received with more love and affection. And on TikTok, they totally fucking my parents ain't shit, blah blah blah, this and that. And I was like, wow, my parents at some point we didn't see eye to eye, but I always loved them. So it's hard for me to put myself in those situations because I'm not gonna lie, I try my best to. That's why this came out the way it did, because regardless of the situation, they banned me on TikTok because I speak hate, supposedly. Because I speak hate. Go look up all my content and see when I'm hateful. They banned me on TikTok. Man, yo, Adams, I'm about to bring you on one of these lives one day. You seem to be on the money. Where was I? The role of forgiveness is not erasing the past, is missing the pain. Did I read this part? The role of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past or dismissing the pain. It is about releasing oneself from the chains of resentment and anger. Forgiving parents who have caused harm does not mean condoning their actions. Instead, it is a personal act of liberation, allowing the individual to move forward without being bound by the past. In the context of honoring one's parents, forgiveness can be a way to acknowledge their role in one's life while simultaneously protecting one's own emotional and mental well-being. Yes, I was banned, Mishi, because people that are don't believe in my spirituality or practice, they're very let's say petty, and they're very narrow-minded, so they always report me as hate speech or hateful I guess what is it, hateful, I forgot what, hate speech and or offensive content. Creating emotional distance with compassion. In situations where the relationship with parents is toxic, maintaining emotional distance might be necessary for self-preservation. This distance cannot negate the act of honoring, rather, it can be an expression of self-respect and self-care. Honoring parents can still be practical from a distance, through prayer, seeking their well-being, or simply by acknowledging their humanity and struggles. Compassion allows one to see parents not only as sources of personal pain, but as flawed individuals who are part of a larger spiritual journey. Yep, that's what happened to me. Because they don't believe what I speak or what I do. They report me and I get banned for weeks at a time. And that's not fair. I come on my lives every day. This is how I make a living, pretty much. I do spiritual works and spiritual guidance, and they mess with my flow. Are you serious, Jesus Christ, Liz? I'm a devoted child of Santa Muerte and God Almighty. I thought YouTube had more freedom of speech. That's why I'm trying to grow YouTube. I'm trying to jump from TikTok to YouTube because TikTok, man, you can't even. It's TikTok. I get banned at least every other week. Really? Shit. Maybe we start our own spiritual, social network. I know, maybe we should. Understanding how to honor one's parents in both traditional and complex circumstances involves practical actions The following are the ways in which individuals can actively live out this commandment. Acts of service. Acts of service can be a profound way to honor parents. This may include taking care of them in their old age, assisting with daily tasks, or providing emotional support. Service is an expression of gratitude and respect, demonstrating a commitment to well-being to one's parents. Open communication. Engaging in open, honest, and respectful communication can foster better understandings and healing in a parental relationship. Expressing feelings, concerns, and love can help bridge gaps and build stronger connections. Even in cases when direct communication is difficult, writing letters or expressing thoughts through other means can be valuable. I'm reading text that I wrote. Prayers and rituals. Praying for one's parents, regardless of the nature of the relationship, is a powerful way to honor them. Rituals that honor ancestors and parents are prevalent in many cultures and provide a structured way to show respect and seek blessings for their souls. These practices not only honor parents, but also contribute to personal spiritual development. Preserving legacy and memories. Honoring parents can involve preserving their legacy, stories, and memories. This can be done through creating family albums, documenting their life stories, or passing down family traditions and values. By preserving their legacy, we keep alive the connection to our roots and acknowledge the role of our parents in shaping who we are. I'm glad you're here then, Jesus Christ lives. I'm gonna tell you, right now I feel very choked up. Like I'm literally trying to fight tears. I love my pops. My dad has always been a great man to me, and he just got over beating cancer. He wasn't supposed to make it, and it was very grim. I held high hopes, and I prayed like a scoundrel for his well-being and for his healing. And it came through. Like, he beat cancer, and it was not supposed to be. He wasn't supposed to beat it. And as I speak these words about honoring your parents, I get choked up because I wish I could do more for my father. I love my father. And I'm going to say this. When I was younger, I wasn't a good son. And I feel very remorseful for it. My mom and dad had their ways. My mom was very strict and very stern. And an ass whooping would come regularly, probably, by my mom. But I love my mother. But for a long time, I was very disrespectful because I was like 15 and I was 6'2". So I grew too big for my britches, and I felt that I didn't have to no longer abide by the rules because I was a big man. And for a long time, I was very disrespectful to my parents because I was a big boy. My mom and dad are both about 5'5". I'm about 6'2", 280 pounds back then, and all muscle back then. I don't know what the fuck, where I came from. But I felt very big. I felt very, I was a man in my head. And looking back, I was a fucking asshole. And I can see that now. My mom and dad had their flaws. Obviously, they had their own pain and their own traumas to get past. So sometimes we may think our parents are horrible, but they're actually a step up from their parents. They actually had way more trauma than I ever knew about. Melvin, how are you? So again, now that I know the entirety of their life, it's a wonder that that they're good parents at all. And again, I'm not trying to forgive parents that really do hurt their kids, but sometimes we complain because they hug us too much, or not enough, or because we don't get, nowadays, because they don't get the new Nintendo or the new PS5 You're fucking horrible. You don't give me the new iPhone. I wanted a Mercedes, not a fucking BMW. I want the Tesla, not that shit. Like, oh my God, like I see it all. So in retrospect, I knew I was not a good son from certain ages, right? But I try to honor my parents as much as I can. Like I said, I didn't talk to my parents for about 3 years because we had a fallout over money. And I wish I could take that back. For those 3 years, I will never get back with my parents by my side. My parents or my siblings, to be honest. So we must look past certain things. I'm gonna say this: I am very much a person that holds grudges, like nobody's business, and I gotta fix that. But when it comes to your family, or your parents, or your kids, we must learn to mend these relationships before it's too late. Thank you, Mishi Suarez. I appreciate that so much. Educating future generations. Teaching children about the importance of honoring their parents ensures that this commandment is passed down through generations. Sharing stories of respect, love, and the significance of family bonds instills these values in young minds, fostering a culture of honor and gratitude. Again, I see a lot of shitheads out there. A lot. Navigating complex emotions. Honoring one's parents can bring up a range of emotions: love, gratitude, resentment, anger, sadness, and confusion. These emotions are natural and part of the human experience. Navigating them requires self-awareness, patience, and the commitment to personal growth. Self-reflection and self-awareness. Regular self-reflection allows individuals to explore their feelings about their parents and understand how these feelings impact their behavior and well-being. Self-awareness is crucial for identifying triggers, acknowledging unresolved pain, and recognizing the need for healing. Seeking support. For those struggling with this commandment to honor their parents, seeking support from a trusted friend or spiritual advisor or therapist can be invaluable. Support provides a safe space to express feelings, gain perspective, and receive guidance on how to navigate complex relationships. Accepting imperfection. Both parents and children are human beings, inherently imperfect and prone to mistakes. Accepting these imperfections of one's parents, as well as our own, can reduce unrealistic expectations and foster a sense of compassion. This acceptance helps us understanding that both parties are doing the best they can with the tools they have. Damn, I'm getting emotional. Man, I know this is going to be difficult tonight. The role of la Santísima Muerte in honoring parents. For devotees of la Santa Muerte, the commandment to honor one's parents takes an added dimension of spiritual significance. La Santísima Muerte, as a protector and guide, embodies the balance between life and death, the human and the divine. Her presence in this commandment serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of all life and the respect that must be shown to those who have contributed to our existence. Seeking guidance from la Santa Muerte. Devotees can seek guidance from la Santa Muerte in their efforts to honor their parents, especially in challenging situations. Prayers, meditations, and offerings can be made to ask for wisdom, patience, and for strength. La Santísima Muerte's compassion and non-judgmental nature provides comfort and support, helping devotees navigate their feelings and actions. God bless you. Jesus Christ lives. Understanding life cycles. Make up with your parents, brother. I'm telling you, I'm like, understanding life cycles. La Santa Muerte's association with the cycles of life and death emphasizes the importance of honoring the life givers. By acknowledging the role of parents in the cycle of life, Devotees align themselves with the natural order and the teachings of la Santa Muerte. This alignment brings a sense of peace and acceptance of life's natural flow. Practices and justice. For those who have suffered harm at the hands of their parents, La Santísima Muerte offers protection and a sense of justice. She is known to defend the vulnerable and bring justice where it is due. Devoted children can find balance in her protective embrace, knowing that their pain is acknowledged and that they are not alone in their struggles. Pretty much, if you have shitty parents, Santa Muerte will right that wrong. Balancing commandment number 3 with self-care. While honoring one's parents is a noble commandment. It is essentially to balance this with self-care. Self-care ensures that individuals do not lose themselves in the process of fulfilling their duties to others. It is important to recognize that honoring parents should not come at the expense of one's mental, emotional, or physical health. Prioritizing well-being. Devotees must prioritize their well-being while striving to honor their parents. This can mean saying no to situations that are harmful, seeking help when needed, and taking time for personal healing. Self-care is not a sign of dishonor. It is a necessary practice that allows individuals to fulfill their responsibilities effectively. Boundaries as a form of honor. Setting boundaries can be an act of love and respect both for oneself and one's parents. Boundaries create a safe space for healthy interactions and protect against toxicity. They demonstrate a commitment to maintaining respectful relationships and highlight the importance of mutual respect. Honoring from a distance. In cases where proximity to parents is harmful, honoring them from a distance is a valid approach. This can involve sending positive thoughts, performing rituals of respect, or simply holding them in a space of compassion. Distance does not diminish the act of honoring. It is a reflection of the complex nature of human relationships. In conclusion, commandment number 3, honor your earthly mother and father, is a profound and deeply meaningful directive. It challenges us to rise above our personal grievances, to see the divine in others, and to acknowledge the gift of life that our parents have given us. It is a commandment that calls for compassion, forgiveness, and a commitment to personal growth. For those who have experienced loving and supportive parent relationships, this commandment reinforces the bonds of love and gratitude. For those who have faced challenges, it offers a pathway to healing, understanding, and liberation from the past. By honoring your parents, we not only fulfill a sacred duty, but also cultivate qualities of empathy, respect, and kindness that enrich our lives and the lives of those around us. In the embrace of la Santa Muerte, we find the strength to honor our parents in ways that are true to our spiritual path and well-being. She reminds us that life is a gift, that every soul is a journey, and that in honoring our earthly mother and father, we honor the divine source from which all life flows. And that was it. That was it. So I hope that I was able to say a few things that some people could agree with, that honoring your parents is a very noble thing. I think Bob Smith will agree to that. If he doesn't, then I don't know what he's preaching here. I'm here talking about honoring the parents, the life givers, the life source that God, the divine ruler of the universe, has bestowed upon us. He gave us our parents. I honor that, and I respect my parents now more than ever. I love my parents now more than ever. And with my old age and having children of my own, I see now the struggles of being a pops, a dad, a father. In honoring your parents, maybe you pave the way for your kids to honor you. If you disrespect your parents, maybe you're gonna get some shitheads for kids. Let's teach this value to our children. Show them through actions, so they one day will respect you. It is nature versus nurture, and I believe when you nurture this commandment and you show your children that you honor your parents, I think that you're gonna be better off for it when you're old and you're on the brink of traveling to the next realm. Thank you, Melvin, Melvine Father. Thank you. Bob, I'm here preaching love, for spirituality, and I don't know what to tell you. Again, you're entitled to your opinion, but I would never go to your church or place where you're trying to say nice things and disrupt you. That shows a very, very low. How were you brought up? Were you not taught to respect others? Because your Savior respected others and their teachings. That shows very low brow. To be so disruptive while someone's trying to give either a prayer, mass, or a teaching. I understand that you're very committed to your beliefs. It does not give you the right to come and impede our space and spiritual practices. You may not understand this, but this is also part of my culture, Mr. Bob Smith. And honestly, again, it's very low class for you to come here and really try to disrupt us. There's a place and a time for everything. And if you wanted to have a dialogue with me, you said, hey, when can you talk? Let's share ideas. Let's have a conversation. But no, you chose this path. Whatever you want to do is, thank you, Yoel Aramas. Again, and just so y'all know, just so we're clear here. See that? That's my God up there. That's the way I know him on the cross. And I'm about to end this because my daughter's calling. So I'm not. You know what? I'll be right back. Let me take this call and I'm gonna continue really quick. Hey, baby. How was the game? You guys win or lose? You didn't cheer, right? You were just there as a viewer, not a cheer. So you were only there as a viewer. You weren't there to cheer, right? Yeah. All right. Or did you cheer?
No, I didn't.
All right. So tomorrow's your first game, right?
Yes.
What am I going to take? Ice cold water, or do you want something different?
Some water.
What else? Like some Kool-Aid and shit to put those packets in, or what? You want Dr. Pepper? I'll go buy some Dr. Pepper then. Anything else? Alright. Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, baby. You gonna go sick, right? Okay. So 3 o'clock at the field.
Yes.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Any blessing? Okay. Love you. Good night. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Sorry about that, people. Let's see. Thank you, Bill Adams. Thank you. Look, Bob Smith. Let me enlighten you really quick. Your beliefs here, they hold some ground. I'm not gonna dismiss your beliefs because I'm not like you. Whatever you believe, that's fantastic. What I'm gonna tell you is this: God, in His divine wisdom, created more creatures besides us, mere mortals. He created the angels, the archangels, cosmic beings to help Him with taking out the trash or picking it up. He's God. He's not gonna do all these things because He can. If we're built in His image, we're not meant to be alone. So neither is He. So on the sixth day, when He finished creating the heavens and the earth, He had already built His realm, His angelic beings. So because you don't believe in my beliefs, that's fine. I acknowledge you. But you are very, very narrow-minded to not accept other people's cultural and spiritual beliefs. I'm not discounting your devotion to God. Look, good for you. But the reality is that before the Europeans got here, the Spaniards got here and took away our spiritual culture, this is how we did it. And if you, I imagine you're either white or black, you don't have that cultural knowledge. And I forgive you for that. It's not your fault. But through Spaniard conquistadors and English settlers, all this was wiped out because it was either join us or die. The Bible was put into our bloody hands. Into our bloody hands it was put. Because it was either accept Jesus Christ the way we present to you or die. Again, look, Bob. I'm calling you Bob. Again, I acknowledge your existence and the right for you to believe how you want. But guess what? I'm American too. I was born in the States, right? And my First Amendment not only gives me the right to say what I want, but also to practice spirituality in the way I see fit. It's freedom of speech, freedom of religion. So sorry, Bob, that you have a problem with that. I apologize that if you find this offensive, I apologize you're here. But that's from your own doing. Because at any moment, Bob, you can go, and that's fine. Like, you said your piece. You said it. And maybe you don't get attention at home. Maybe at home you don't get attention, so therefore you go to these places to be a big boy. But again, I've acknowledged you, and you've been disruptive. And if that's a religious person that does that, Bob, learn some manners. All right, so I've read the Bible, I've read the Quran, I've read the Hebrew scriptures. I get my hands on every literature that I can possibly get. And here's the thing, Bob. When I read the Bible, I understood a few things. It was man written, right? And it came overseas on, boats that were here to conquer. And I understood that when reading the Bible, it was for the ancestors of Joshua, Moses, Isaiah, Isaac. And it states clearly in that book that it's for them. It's for the Hebrew people. I believe that it was written that way because at the time, it was written by Hebrews. Right? Okay. That book was written for that specific time and place for those people. the people here in the Americas, because I'm a mestizo. I'm a combination of both, let's say, Spaniard blood and Native American blood. Like, I belong on this continent, Bob. And this is the way my people used to honor their gods. Because we did believe in God. And I believe we all honor the same God. Because we all do. Thank you for that, Harama Beef 333. So again, Bob, I love you, Bob, and I respect your spirituality, and I respect you as an individual and person, but you must respect my spirituality and my person as well. And my person right now is very much offended that you think the way you do and think that it's okay to disrupt people while they're either in prayer or trying to give followers that believe in this a message. And I'm going to go even further. If you are so Christian or Catholic or whatever you may be, Jesus Christ was put on a cross by people like you that were not tolerant of other people. And your Savior taught to accept everyone and not to judge. Read it in the New Testament. He turned the other cheek and accepted everyone. And here you are, Bob, casting judgment like you're God himself. And although you may have a divine light in you, you're not the divine force. So, Bob, not that I'm being disrespectful, again, because I'm not. Because you have your rights to your spiritual enlightenment. But I'm going to tell you, I'd rather be spiritual than religious. Religion has brought nothing but pain, agony, and destruction to the world. Now, Bob, love you. Love God. All that. That's all I could say to you, because I don't want to continue this with you, because there's not going to be a way where you convince me or I convince you. So let's leave it at that. Let's agree to disagree. Oh, Hiram, I respect you. Again, I respect everyone's culture, and again, Santeria, Santa Muerte, everything. I respect it. I respect everyone's beliefs, because I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to cast judgment upon others, because I don't like to be judged myself. So therefore, brother Hiram Abif 333, much love and respect to you and your practice. Again, you believe in Santa Muerte and Santeria? Bro, we are practically brothers. I'm doing I'm a devoted to La Santa Muerte. If that makes sense to you. And again, it doesn't make sense to people, but I mean, that's why I'm here. You know what's funny about all this is that I've been called a liar and all this, and all I do is try to spread positive energies. That's all I do, is try to be positive and bring peace. Go look at my content, Bob. I want to see where the hate's from. Bob, may I ask you a question, Bob? Where are you from, Bob? May I ask where you're from, Bob? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. May I ask where you're from, Bob? I'm trying to have dialogue with you. May I ask where you're from? Simple question, Bob. May I ask where you're from? Not gonna tell me easy. Look, I'm from Southern California, Bob. I was raised in a little town where gang violence was off the chain. Um, you can have one statue, and she embodies all the energies, Mishi. But I collect all of them because I like it. It's become my thing, right? Ask Bob, you don't like it, but for me, you could have a statue, or you don't need it. You don't need it altered. You can have a direct connection to her. But if you get one statue, let's say you get a red one, you can still pray to her for all the aspects that she has. It's just that she has different coats, different cloaks for different things, but she's one and the same. Bob isn't gonna tell me where he's from, is he? Well, anyways, I was saying, where I'm from, there was lots of gang violence, lots of murders, lots of violence. I said that again, lots of violence. And I was part of that struggle. In God's great wisdom, He created Santa Muerte to get scoundrels like me because we were drawn to her, because she is a saint of the marginalized, the oppressed. The downtrodden people of society turn to her for salvation. Because God was wise. God created something for all of us to like, enjoy, and bring us to Him. Through Santa Muerte, I have found God. I have found God. I'm closer to God because of her and her grace. So, again, just to be clear, I am not a saint. I am a sinner. I struggle with being a good man every day, Bob. Every day. But the thing is, I keep trying. I try to be kind to other people. I try to respect them. I try to be a good human being, Bob, by not passing judgment on anybody. Spirituality teaches you that. So, again, Bob, where you from, Bob? Bob, where are you from, Bob? I would start with the white, black, or 7 colors. The 7 colors pretty much embodies all of them. But Nishi, call me, because, I mean, I can give you some direct information. But again, if you want to buy, I sell, so let me know. Bob, where are you from, Bob? Bob, I got a feeling that me and you didn't share the same background, Bob. I got a nagging feeling that me and Bob, we wouldn't have broke bread because we're two different people. So our spirituality is going to be different, Bob. My journey is different than yours, Bob. Pretty sure, Bob. All right, I'm done with Bob. Because Bob is skating around the questions, and he's one of those robots that just sputes things that he read somewhere or that he was told. Because Bob just doesn't find out for himself. So Bob, thank you for coming. It was a pleasure to see you. I think you're here often. I think this is not the first time you're here, Bob. So, again, everyone say good night, Bob. Yeah, I'd rather be spiritual than religious. All right, Mishi. But you can call me if you have a question or text me. Bob, good night, Bob. Good night, Bob. Good night, Bob. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, Joel, Aaron, Cairo. Thank you so much, everyone that was here. I thank you all for all your positive, negative feedback. Everyone, be safe, be blessed. And again, Bob does not want to communicate with me on a level of real interaction. He wants to spew what he feels in his heart is correct. So good for you, Bob. You probably know your alphabet and your times tables too. So great, awesome. All right, so everyone have a good night. I'm gonna get off because I'm tired of Bob not answering my questions at all. And Bob, next time you come here, you can speak beyond just, you know, what you were taught. Again, I like to speak to people and not just, do what you do, which is you're not talking from the heart at all. You're not talking from your soul. You're not talking from your heart. You're just spewing out something that someone put in your mind to be facts. And Bob, let me tell you, we all have different roads. We all have different roads. Aaron Cairo, inbox me. Go follow me on TikTok. We can talk. You can call me if you want. We can talk about it. I'm not here to waste anybody's time like Bob is. So again, if you really want to talk about spirituality and her, Santa Muerte, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Everyone, Bob might need attention. Like Bob might be a very small man in his real life, so he comes to places like this and he feels like a big man because he could just spew shit and be disruptive. Bob might have an ego that size of a nickel, and comes here and he's a quarter. So Bob, please, Bob, if you're gonna come here, have some real interaction. Have some real interaction. Speak from your mind and heart. Don't be repetitive and spew things, because we can talk Bible if you want, but I'd rather speak from a mind that is, But again, Bob, love you. Everyone, good night. God bless. May Santa Muerte always protect you and God always guide you. Everyone have a beautiful evening. And again, no disrespect, Bob, but next time, be open to a conversation. Thanks so much. Aaron, if you want to follow me on TikTok, you can reach me there or on Instagram. On my videos that I have on this page, they have TikTok. I have TikTok postings here. My number's on there. You can reach out to me. I will text me first. I never answer a phone call, so text me first. And Bob, you can text me too, so we can have a real conversation if you like. All right, Bob. My number's on my videos, so you can call me, Bob, so I can know a little bit about you. So maybe I won't judge you as harsh. Yes, he is, LEM. Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of the Lords. Yes, he is. I agree with that statement. Thank you for being here. Again, everyone have a blessed night. Bob, you can call me and text me. We can have a conversation, Bob. Okay, Bob? All right, Bob. Why do I feel that you have a pencil holder in your pocket, Bob? Probably do. All right. Stay blessed, everybody. Good night.